Hello, welcome back. This is the final game of the day. We have Berserker versus Stats. Berserker, of course, also known as Iris. Recapping on our previous game, we had Stork versus Zergbong, a very entertaining series there. Stork really, well, to be honest, the first game was very, very close. But Stork did manage to win with some excellent counterattacks. The second game, Zergbong did an excellent Hydraless entry break. I was very impressed with it, to be honest. Nice tech pattern there. And then finally we had Stork with gateways below the ramp. Uncommon build order. And he just went straight for the rush and totally took Zergbong down. I mean, it turned into a game of micro, and yeah, well played. I gotta hand it to him. So our next game, Berserker versus Stats, a Terran versus Protoss. Stats beat the Rock, actually in an upset. I was pretty surprised. On the other hand, Berserker has gotten an easy seed into this tournament, obviously because he is such an accomplished player. Very, very strong Terran player, indeed. Now, yeah, our first game is going to be Colosseum. Excuse me, the first map will be Colosseum. And here are the previous records of the players. By the way, this has become to the Averatec-Intel Classic, and we are happy to have you tuned in here. And this is Nick Tasel's plot. Yes, as you can see, he did beat Terror 2-1. Terror, a fairly well-known Zerg player. I know I've seen some of his replays as well. Now, doing a Terran versus Protoss. Now remember, Stats started at the 128 marker, so he's managed to hack his way through all of these players and get this far, which is no small feat. 128 top-level pro gamers put together. And, you know, here we only have 32 remaining. We're almost at the phase where we have only 16 remaining. It's really exciting. I'm really happy to be down here casting these games for you. Well, both players have joined the game, and they are both confirming that they are ready. So I think we're going to get this game going pretty soon here. Now, in a map like Colosseum, much like some of the other maps, we can see a proxy. Not necessarily too common. We do see Terrans sometimes proxy on this because Protoss is so likely to go fast Nexus normally. But it just depends. It's one of those things where, actually, you know, to be honest, we've seen so many proxy gates on this map and proxy barracks, and now players are checking the center before they scout anywhere else. We'll see what happens this game, though. Stay tuned. Here's our Terran player at the bottom right, Berserker, also known as Iris. He actually was nicknamed the Berserker Terran. That's when he decided to change his ID. He liked that name better than Iris. There you can see one of his fans. He's a very aggressive Terran player. Sometimes too aggressive, so aggressive that it hurts him. Stats, on the other hand, we don't know too much about Stats because he is so new. Obviously, we have never really seen one pro gamer dominate for more than a few years. We've had players like Savior, stay on top, and Slayer's Boxer back in the day. But there's always these new players coming up and stealing the throne, taking that crown away from these top players. So you always want to watch carefully and not dismiss these newer players. Obviously, Stats is the underdog, and I think this entire series is going to be very difficult for him. But that doesn't mean that he does not have the potential to be the best. Who knows? We could be looking at one of the future best StarCraft players out there. It's hard to say. Competition is so high in StarCraft now, and the scene itself is just so competitive that it's really difficult to say these days. There's Stats scouting out, and I think he is once again going to check the center of the map for the proxy before he goes for the fast nexus. And since there is no proxy in the middle of the map, he is going to make his nexus now. So we see that he unfortunately did not manage to get into his opponent's base, and he will not have a very good idea of what our Terran player Berserker is up to. He will have to make judgments based off how many Marines he sees made, what are the first units he sees behind the supply depot and barracks. And as you can see, the SCV is going to get out of there. That is one of the Berserker fangirls, because she's sitting on the Berserker side of the stands. This is also a pretty standard fast expo build. There are a few different ways you can fast expo as Protoss against Terran, but getting the second gate is the most common. He might get one Zealot along with the Dragoons. He may just go straight for the Dragoons. So as you can see, also, we're not seeing a lot of Marines, and that's because he can get that walling off. He wants to get that command center out, the factory out, the tank out, as fast as possible. Marines kind of slow that down. Now, Berserker has not actually scouted his opponent just yet. He is scouting, but he has not made it to the top right spot just yet. And it looks as though he may actually, if he does this right, he could manage to pick up the SCV before he can really gather a lot of intelligence. I assume that's siege mode being upgraded. Now he sees the two gates. Berserker may be wise enough to realize that there is in fact a fast nexus. What, did that Dragoon just shoot itself? That's what it looked like. But in fact it just missed. Now, he didn't actually scout the fast nexus directly, but I would assume, judging from the lack of Dragoons there, that he should be aware that there's a fast nexus up and running. Fast Robo-Bay now. So again, very standard fast expo build. Now the assimilator is going to complete. You have to get that second gas income pretty quickly if you fast expand, because you just start to get your Robo-Bay and your Dragoon range upgraded so quickly, and you're still pumping Dragoons. Second factory out now. Sometimes there are Terrans who will go for a fast drop ship and use vultures with mines, because that is a build that is very strong against fast Nexus. And we also at times see the Protoss go for a mid-game Reaver, so that if the Terran player has not made turrets in time, they will be really hurt, especially due to all that harassment. Another Nexus out here now. So I don't think we're going to see any Reaver harassment yet. Instead, it's going to be massing up units. Note that he will be making a pylon wall over here. We're going to have to see how strong... you know, I don't believe we've seen constant SCV production here by Berserker. I could be incorrect, though, but we may see a timing push later on. No, actually, we might see a late timing push here because he did get that fast armory. He's going for the scanners first. He'll scan and figure out if Reavers are a threat, and if they are, he will go ahead and make turrets. In this case, they're not, so I think his timing push is going to be a little bit stronger because he will not have spent all those minerals on other, you know, on all those turrets, etc. And look at this, he's going to go with another expansion. So it's going to be a really late game timing push. Very nice, using the 2 Goliaths, he can scan and pick off the Observer. We've seen Flash do this build many a time to defeat Stork. Ah, okay, fast Stargate, or at least pretty early Stargate. Now, if Terran scans that, he could be in trouble. However, he did spot that there's another command center on the way. So he knows, hey, maybe in this window of time, I can possibly sneak out a few carriers before I get pushed. And, you know, when you start to get a lot of carriers on this map, you can really lose control of the game. And when I say that, I mean the Terran will lose control of the game. However, the fact that Berserker is going for the +1 attack upgrade means that he could counter carriers pretty well anyways. In fact, he may be more than prepared for this. This could all boil down to a matter of execution. We see him getting the add-on, so that and he will also be getting the science facility. He wants to get that science facility so he can get that +2 attack upgrade out of the armory. Excuse me. And I think, well, let's see here. What can he do with these vultures? The pylon wall is already up over here. And now we're looking at the Terran. The Terran's still building up. I think we can expect to see a push in maybe 3 minutes. Maybe more, though. Until then, we're just going to see our Terran player zip around the map with the vultures. He doesn't want Protoss to expand in that one mineral spot. He just needs to maintain some map control with those vultures. Oh, we're actually seeing 3 starports here. Stargate, excuse me. And here we go with a drop over here in the back of Stats' base. And planting a few mines. He really didn't kill any probes. He may just want to delay that player from actually, well, we want to just delay Stats from actually mining at this location. And because he may be pushing again later on. You know, transferring probes, you lose a lot of money in the travel time. The whole game is centered around the workers. And, you know, are you mining minerals quickly enough? Are you boosting your economy in an effective way? And he spotted the 3rd star gate. And is he going to get enough probes? Berserker seems a little bit too focused on planting mines and not actually killing probes. So I don't know how effective these drops have been. Now we do have +1 on the carriers, +1 attack. And he's going for the +2. Now a lot of Goliaths are being pumped out here. Looks like he's focusing more on Goliaths than tanks right now. Now Berserker has to make sure that he's actually dealing damage with these drops and not just handing over units at a discount price. And it looks like he will hold off this harassment. No surprise there, although We did see, what, about 5 kills on that tank, make it 6, and I'm sure the other one had about 3, maybe 4, depending on splash damage. And I think very soon Terran's going to push. I actually thought he was going to push by now, but I guess not. All right, here it comes. He's unsieging. He's moving out. And it's going to be up to how well the Protoss can respond. Is he going to go for the counterattacks? Is he going to use those carriers to defend the base or attack the Terran base? And, you know, one thing is that the Terran army is so big and immobile that it can't be everywhere at once, so Protoss is going to have to attack from multiple angles. Meanwhile, Protoss also desperately trying to get larger. Terran will squeeze out another expansion because he does have most of the map controlled. I would say that Terran's food, probably, what, 140? The supply limit, probably at about 140. Then you can see that Stats is very invested in the carriers, has 2 cybernetics cores. And he's going to get that engineering bay. That actually could be pretty big because Terran needs to make turrets to defend. All right, Terran now moving out, heading for the base. Protoss may go for a counterattack on the ground. And it looks like he's going to just say, all right, go for my base, I'm going to go for yours. Unbelievable. Okay, Berserker now attacking this base. Meanwhile, Stats picking up the remaining tanks. Oh my gosh. Both players just killing each other off, but you can see that Berserker's left a few units behind to take out some probes. Meanwhile, the army of Berserker now moving down. Those carriers do have the +2 attack, +1 armor, making them carrier-killing machines. Oh, man. And now, okay, so he's moved into the main, into the heart where the factories are. He's going to have to control that position. A lot of probes being picked off here. If he can maintain position over here, over the factories, I think it would be a win, but look at all of those Terran units. Stats can't afford to lose that many Dragoons. Oh, the armor is taken out. The upgrades being slowed down. Meanwhile, the cybernetics cores of Stats upgrading at a rapid rate. Note, this build actually counters Berserker's build pretty well, since the carriers now have +2 attack and +1 armor. Stats knows his build orders pretty well here. I'm surprised Stats didn't go for a command center assassination at any point in time here. But now with the Dragoons out of the picture, he can use the hold position micro and just pick off whatever's left as far as interceptors coming out. Now Berserker counterattacking once again with the remainder of his tanks. He knows he doesn't need the tanks there because all the Dragoons are gone. And Iris' main, Berserker's main. But the carriers are growing in numbers. And the more carriers he gets, the harder it will be for him to stay in this. Carriers now taking out all of the tanks. He needs those Goliaths over there to catch up. Stats definitely down on the SCV count. Meanwhile, Berserker down on the probe count. And when I said stats down on the SCV count, I meant probes. I was just testing you. I hope you passed the test. Okay, here's another Vulture that is taking out... at this point in time, okay, look, Stats cannot afford to lose any more probes. He cannot, I mean, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Look, he cannot really afford to utilize these expansions he has. The expansions are only as useful as they are when probes are mining from them. And as you can see, well, actually, will he be able to pick off these interceptors? They are pretty upgraded. The carriers are very upgraded. And it looks like he may be able to get the carrier! Well done there. And, gosh, it's going to come down right now to whether or not Berserker can hold off these carriers. I'm really surprised, though, that Berserker has not found the hidden expansion at the top left. I mean, his opponent has to be making these interceptors from somewhere. Here comes the command center assassination. Berserker rushes in here to try to hold it off. Berserker going to back out, try to bait Stats into coming in once again. And it does appear as though the carriers have been held off for now. You can see Stats kind of edging out there. But you can see at the same time, though, that Berserker is very good at making the vultures. The carriers cannot be everywhere at once. Taking out so many probes. All the probes there will be killed. And he's going to try to sneak in there. Wow, okay, that's a lot of carriers. And the Goliaths were not organized very well. Oh, man. Look at that. I think Stats may win on the carriers alone. He has to hold off these carriers. It doesn't matter if Stats has no probes. If he can just pick off every, or at least get to the factories, assassinate the command centers. Oh my gosh. This is intense. I think Berserker could very well lose this. This command center is going to be taken out. Where are the probes? That expansion may be mined out at the far top left for Stats. Unbelievable. Now taking out more and more Goliaths. One carrier very low. He takes out one carrier, but he's going to have to do better than that. Another carrier incredibly low on HP. Gets the drop ship. Now attacking these SCVs. And, he does have the expansion at the bottom left. It's going to be a matter of whether or not Stats can get to that now. We can see Stats starting to run out of money, having to remake so many interceptors and not really having a big income. Oh, man, this is tough. It's really tough to say who's going to win this. Neck and neck are these two giants right now. Now, Stats has not found the expansion yet. His fleet of carriers getting pretty close to it, though. He may be searching for those for that expansion now, suspecting that something is not quite right now with how many Goliaths he's seen. And it's been spotted. Unbelievable. He is going to have to... nope. Did not manage to save it in time. Berserker has no income other than long-distance mining. Talk about an intense game. He's going to have to use the rest of his Goliaths to somehow hold off these carriers. And as you can see, Berserker is just going to keep retreating to locations that the Goliaths can't quite get to. Then when the Goliaths turn around and engage, he's already back over the high ground again. Stats is going to win this game. There's no question about that right now. All he has to do is pick off the rest of these Goliaths, and Stats cannot be stopped. By the way, there are a lot of Berserker fans down here today, and you can see how upset they look. There it is. Good game. Well played, Stats. Defeating Berserker, also known as Iris. I gotta hand it to him. He definitely played very well. Talk about an exciting series here. Unbelievable. And Berserker knows he is behind right now. He is going to have to recover. The pressure is on. We already saw Cal get eliminated. Kronro get eliminated. Could we see Berserker, also known as Iris, get eliminated as well? We will find out soon enough at the GOMTV Averatec-Intel Classic. The #1 tournament in Korea. The largest tournament, in fact, and the one with the largest prize pool. So I think Stats has surprised everybody. Although, at the stage we're at in the tournament now, I'm getting pretty used to being surprised. We've had so many insane games. We're going to start now.